Hey there again, welcome to another episode from StrommTV. We're still on the road to victory with our Shaman deck. We're at 6 wins right now. We're going to push for the 7th. I was going to stop, but the fact that we're, right there at the break-even point or the make money point, the infinite point as some people call it, I think we have to push for it. I think it's good not to try to push too hard when you're doing these things. Just a little bit of frustration makes it really hard to keep your focus in Arena. But when you're on a roll, you're on a roll. So we're just going to go with it, see what happens.
Thrall versus Malfurion.
We've got a druid here. His name is Rylet. We've got a pretty solid start, but if anyone was there for the draft, this is what I was saying. I hate having a start like this where you have the Infiltrator and the Mad Bomber. I don't know if I want to keep the Tinkertown tech. He's a 3-drop. I think we're going to keep him. I feel like there are better cards I could get there, but he is a 3-drop. Worst case scenario, he's a 3-3 for us. I'd like to pair the Power Mace and the Tinkertown tech with a mech, so maybe I'll get one, but kind of depending on what our friend here does, we'll see how it goes. Nothing from him turn 1, so I think we are going to do Infiltrator. If he doesn't do anything that the Infiltrator can trade into, I may just totem. If he drops something with 3 health, we may go for the Mad Bomber Infiltrator play, but that's still risky because then we may miss his minion and he can kill our Mad Bomber and our Infiltrator with 1 minion. So it's a 2-for-1 in his favor under that case.
I wonder.
If he doesn't drop anything, we might leave the Infiltrator stealth, just because once we pop him out, he can easily kill it with a hero power. We do lose 2 damage, but especially this early in the game, face damage is not what we're concerned with, unless we were playing a face race deck, which we're not. Great play for us. I think we are going to go Mad Bomber route then, because we just trade.
First kill.
Kind of a waste, because again, the bombs just go wherever, but hey, that's 2 to him, 1 to us. Good job, good job. I can't give up the 2-drop though. I need to keep pressure on him. Having the Power Mace is a good option. Having the Twilight Drake with the coin is pretty cool, just because when we get to turn 4, if I still have my coin, it's going to be a bigger version of a Yeti. I think he's hero powering us, is what I see here. So he cleared our board, but again, that Mad Bomber was a pretty decent play. Still trades 1-for-1. We're probably going with the Tinkertown tech, which is again why we kept him. We could also go with the Manatide though. He doesn't have anything to answer the Manatide. I think we're going Tinkertown tech. The Manatide would replace itself. So again, we kind of give up our turn 3 just to cycle a card. We probably would get an extra card the next turn as well, so it would be card draw, but that's very similar to an Arcane Intellect play, where you turn 3 you draw 2 cards. I think right now I want to keep what I can as far as kind of a lead goes, and I think doing the Tinkertown tech into the Twilight Drake is the way to do it. Just because he cannot use his Yeti to kill my Twilight Drake paired with his hero power, he will probably use his Yeti to kill my Tinkertown tech, but little does he know, we have a Power Mace and a Lightning Bolt, so it's a pretty good setup for us right now. Depending on what he does, if our Twilight Drake can kill the other minion he drops right now, we might do something like Power Mace Manatide with our coin, just to get that card draw going. Otherwise, we'll probably do Ship's Cannon and something. Definitely think we're leaning towards the Manatide Power Mace play here. Ooh, or the Totemic. I wish we were actually streaming. I could ask you guys what you think, but I think we're going for the card.
Elements guide.
We also got the Rusty Horn out of that's good. We also drew the mech, which is what I was actually hoping for, so that way when I hit the Power Mace with the last swing, I'll be able to buff something. That kind of determines what I'm going to play next turn, depending on his side of the board, but Demolisher Tuskar Totemic is not actually a bad play for what's on the board right now. Turn 6 for a druid is kind of a weird slot. I feel like Druid of the Claw would be my initial concern here, but even then if he did something like Druid of the Claw, he would either charge it in the Mana Tide or it would die to my Twilight Drake and my weapon. So turn 6, I'm kind of thinking he's going to drop 2 minions here. I don't think he's going to hero power. I think he's going to either do a 4-drop and a 2-drop or a 3-drop and a 2-drop. He is going for the board clear, so he misplayed that right there because, again, he's clearing out the board. He should have used his 1/1 minion into my 0 damage totem, so it would have still lived. Not a huge deal on his part, but just not a good play overall.
Did you bring some fish?
See what totem we get. So we have a spell damage totem. He could swipe the Demolisher right now. I might want to buff it, but then that also sets it up for getting silenced. We're just going to leave it. I feel like this kind of shows our hand of, hey buddy, this is what we got, but I would rather have the Demolisher out there for the chance of 2 extra damage next turn, as opposed to having it in my hand for dropping it to buff it with the weapon. Should have buffed it, I guess. He is going for it.
Don't mess with Tusker.
Still premium removal coming out from him. This is actually pretty good for us. Let's see what totem we get before we decide what we're doing. Got the taunt totem. So I think we're going to take that out with the weapon. Take that out with the minion. That way our minion stays alive. We are at the 4 minions, so Mind Control Tech is a valid play from him. But at the same time, worst case scenario, he takes our 6/6. We silence it, kill it with a lightning bolt. So we're still okay there. If he has a swipe, it kills the Tuskar Totemic, but it leaves us in a pretty good spot. And the fact that he used Bite last turn, I think that's the only premium removal he has. So I don't think he's going to have something else in this hand. Maybe a silence, but I don't think any removal. Could be that swipe we were talking about, debating swiping and then killing the taunt totem, but not really good play. Freeze buys him a turn at least.
Yes.
Shall we put a kink in their plans?
That is unfortunate that he's going to play it like that. I almost think we Lance Carrier our Totemic and just clear his board. The other option is dropping another totem and lightning bolting, so we get lots of totems. We keep that minion going.
What to do?
Not a bad play, but then the Totemic is going to die to his hero power. So do I utilize my Totemic or do I utilize my hero power? Let's do it with the Totemic. So he's only got 3 cards in his hand at this point. I think he's been using a lot of what he has to keep me at bay. I feel like worst case scenario against a druid, I'm worried about the 8/8 tree, which if it happens, I can run my raider into his 8/8 tree. I don't know if I would do it right away though, because I have a taunt totem in between me and him, so maybe try to buff mine up a little bit first.
What to do?
He's already used quite a bit of his, I would say quite a bit of his good cards, but really this is Arena. How do we know what cards he even has? His whole deck could be all good cards. We're at a really big card disadvantage right now, because again we have a Spellbreaker, so we have Silence in our hand. Our Rusty Horn I wouldn't really count as a card, so we're looking at 1 to 3 right now. There's the 8/8 tree like we said. So we have 3 damage from Spell Power Totem. Do we do anything with it? Kind of thinking no. I feel like with 16 cards, I think we're looking pretty good towards getting anything else. I think we are just going to dump the taunt on something like that. The reason for that is I don't want him to be able to kill my stone skin totem and then just go straight for the raider. I'm kind of putting all my eggs in that raider basket right now, but I don't think it's a bad play. If he has something like Starfall or Deathwing, it would be really bad. There's again why I ended up doing that play and shielding him. He's still making awkward plays just because, again, like, he's probably using his 8/8 tree to kill the totem? Maybe not. He's swiping. It's a little bit of a misplay on my part. I thought about putting the taunt on the ship's cannon, but I didn't think it would be necessary. He's still running out of cards right now, though, so 1-to-1 card-wise, Imp Master's kind of useful. Let's play the Imp Master first, and then hope for maybe a healing totem. There we go. So the Imp Master is going to heal every turn. We're going to clear that just because I don't want him to be able to take out my healing totem. Imp Master ticks. Healing totem goes off after. There's a lot of little things like that that you want to keep an eye on. The Imp Master healing totem combo I don't think is the game-breaking combo to do that with, but it's something to keep in mind.
It's getting hot in here.
Of course it hits what it needs to, as always. We do get the Hex though, so it doesn't really matter. We're going to go like that. That minion will heal at the end of the turn. We are going to Hex it just because a 7/7 Divine Shield is definitely worth hexing. And then we get a 1/1 totem out. So we're healing every turn. We're getting a lot of minions on the board. We're kind of susceptible to swipe right now, but when we're both top decking, we are in a very good spot. Kind of amazed we haven't seen any of our +2 totem guys. I think that's what we're looking for at this point. There's the Starfall that we keep talking about. Very unfortunate that that's what he top decks. These are the kind of games, though, that this deck is not designed for. This is definitely not a top deck. I am going to drop the totem first, just because depending on which totem I get, the Tuskar Totemic could maybe double up on it.
Let the dark in.
Not really a great totem there. I was hoping for maybe, you know, double healing totem or something like that. Double taunt totem, something to keep me going. Still, so far, doing great as far as top decks. We're both just top decking a bunch of cards we don't need at this point in the game. That's actually good that he takes that card out. Again, I think our totems are what's going to save us. Fire Elemental to his face is not the best, but it's better than nothing. For those that weren't here for the draft, Fire Elemental is our end game. He's our biggest card in the deck. He's our only 6-drop, so, you know, this is the end game. We've got him at 10 health, so he's at Fatal next turn, depending on what he does. Will he heal or will he draw? It looks like he's drawing, so far, we're still on Fatal right now. We've got 8 damage on the board, 3 in the hand. Even if he armors up and clears a minion, he's still taking the 1 damage. He is wrathing, though, so again, he's trying to stay alive, but that's still 7 on the board, 3 in the hand. So, looking pretty good right now. To him, he probably thinks he's okay just because a 5/5 versus a 6/5 in a good spot, but he also probably knows he's in danger because any card basically kills him. Shaman, Lightning Bolt, Rock Biter, both things you could count on them having. I don't have either, but I don't really need either right now. Always makes me wonder when you get down to this point if he's roping me just to rope me, or if he's really thinking, can my 1 mana save me? Zombie Chow. Living Roots, get 2 extra minions. We'll drop everything.
Well played.
It's kind of rude, but... let him know what we got. Sorry, Rylet, we needed 7 wins, and you just happen to be it. Thanks for watching, guys. 7 wins. Infinite round right here with our Shaman. So, doing pretty good for a little deck that I didn't think was going to make it.